Okay, welcome to this video. In this first one, we're going to be having a look at importing the video into our GarageBand project and getting some sound effects. So let's get started. First of all, we're going to click on GarageBand, which is down in the dock. Little guitar in front of an amplifier. I've got this project as the last thing I was working on. I'm just going to go File, New. That will take me to this splash screen. And I want to choose Empty Project. Don't need to change anything else. You should check that your audio input and audio output both say Avid Fast Track Solo. They should both say Avid Fast Track Solo. Okay, cool. So let's get started. We'll go choose. Now I'm just going to clean my screen up. I don't need this window here, so I'll get rid of that. Now the first thing we want to do is import the video. So I've already downloaded the video off Google Classroom. It's in my downloads folder. I need to go to the Finder, which is this little smiling face, bottom left. Click on Downloads, find the video, and then simply just drag it in. Okay, I can now click back on GarageBand, and now I've got my video in. A couple of things about that. It shows the video on this little screen. I can also close that and then work without the video being visible at all. I can then bring it back up by clicking on the video here. I can resize the video too, make it larger or smaller as I need. So I'm going to be using that quite a bit for this session, so I'm going to leave it fairly large, and we'll go with that. Now, I'll just hit play, so spacebar will play.
One day, Moon's two boys told him they wanted to go hunting for the first time. They would catch food for the whole family.
All right, and you can see that I can see where I'm up to in the video by dragging this time slider around, and I can hear the narration as well. If I want to turn that off, which I will at the moment, I can click mute, and now that'll play without any sound. Okay, so that's good. Now the next thing I need to do is decide what sound effects I'm going to put in and put a couple in. This has got two stages. The first stage is I need to identify my background sound effects, all those sounds that are happening in the background that that create an environment. So these are going to be things like water sounds, swamp sounds, forest sounds, desert sounds, wind sounds, all of that kind of stuff. So we're looking for background. Now, as I do this, I'm going to be taking some notes on GarageBand here. It's got this great feature, top right, called Notepad. So I'll click on that, and I'll actually take notes directly in the project so that I don't have to go looking for a separate notes file. Okay, so I'll watch a little bit of this, and as I do, I'm going to take some notes of what happens in the background. So first of all, I can notice, we hit play here, that we're in a forest type environment, or at least there are some trees around. Then when we get to bar 5, we go to a billabong. There's some water. Bar 8 is a campfire. Just keep watching. So we're still, in general, we're in this environment, this foresty, trees sort of environment. Okay, we'll keep watching. Okay, good, and I can see there's a scene change about to happen. Okay, so at this point here, at around about bar 20 to bar 21, we're changing to nighttime. Let's keep going. This is the outline of my video. We've got a forest background, which kind of goes throughout the video really. We've got to the billabong, got some water. Then we've got a campfire setting, and we've also got nighttime at about bar 20 and 21. All right, so I'm going to import some sound effects to make that happen. I'm going to close the video window, and then I'm going to go and find my sound effects. Now, these are located in Student Share. Now, that's there's a number of ways that you can find this. I'm going to get there this way. So I'm going to go to the Finder. I'm going to click on the Shared section. It'll think about it for a bit. Then we need to go to Student Share, and yours will go straight to Year 8. Go straight in there. So your screen will immediately look like this. Okay, now we're going to choose Arts, Music, and then Sound Effects. Arts, Music, Sound Effects. All right, cool. So we've got a couple of different sounds that we can bring in. I'm going to just point out, by choosing this option here, the first one, I can actually click on these to preview them. Let me just have a go of that. Okay, so I can preview the sounds like that. Now, what I'm going to go through and choose, I'm actually going to just consult my notes here. All right, so the sound that I'm going to go for is this rainforest one. So I can preview it like that. All right, so that's the sound I'm going to use. Now, to get that in, just like I did for my video, I simply click, drag, drop. Okay, so I've got my rainforest. Now, while I'm here, I may as well get my other background sounds. I'm certainly going to want, probably, this night sound. Let's just check it out. Okay, so night, I'll drag that in as well. And the other one that we had was a fire sound. So I'm going to try to find the fire. Should be something here. Here it is. I'm going to drag that in as well. So I've got 3 sounds that I can work with. Now, this by the Billabong sound is one other one. Let me just go back to that. So if I get some water. There we go, drag in some water as well. Okay, so I've got a whole range of different background sound effects. I'm going to leave that open to the side, go back to GarageBand. Okay, so let's now create our background. Now, the first thing to notice is, if I zoom out a bit, in general, these sounds, I'm going to want to have them continue throughout most of the, for quite a bit longer than they initially import at. So to do that, I position the start of the sound where I want it. So let's focus on this rainforest one for the moment. And then I click the top right corner and it loops. I'll just drag that out as far as I need it to go. All right, so that's now going to be a rainforest sound that's in the background all the way through. Let's just see if that's got, if that's okay. And at this point, I'm going to bring the narration back in as well. So I'll unmute that. There we go.
One day, Moon's 2 boys told him they wanted.
Now the narration should be a lot louder than the sound effects, so I'm going to pull the sound right down.
Wanted to go hunting for the first time. They would catch food for the whole family. Down at the Billabong, the boys had fun catching all kinds of fish.
So that's quite good. So I've got my rainforest background sound. Now, let's put these other ones where they need to go. So I'm going to put the night sound in next. That's going to happen around about here. You can actually see that as I drag the sound, it advances the frames of the video. Really handy. So the night sound is going to come in there. And again, I'm going to loop that. And what I'm actually going to do at this point is I'll make the rainforest sound stop and the night sound start with a little bit of overlap.
The women went looking.
Again, that night sound's way too loud, so I'll bring it down.
They found the trap. It was their sons in there.
Okay, good. So, next I've got this fire sound. That comes in a couple of times. Once here, where I've got my campfire happening. So I'll get that to roughly the right spot. Now we'll see how long that needs to be. Now I can shorten that by moving my mouse cursor to the middle right corner of the sample. Again, I'm going to shorten that, trying to match it to the end of the campfire scene. So that's pretty much it. Okay. Now I noticed that later on the fire came again. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hold Option, click, and drag. And then I'm going to see, here we go. So we've got more fire at this point. So again, I can use the fact that GarageBand is keeping track of those video frames as I drag things around to get the start and the end of that in the right spot. So we've got our Moon Man on fire right through there until that point. Okay. Now let's just check how the campfire sounds. You can see that I'm sort of building a picture
kinds of fish.
Pull that down a little bit.
When you die, you will die forever, but I will never die.
All right, good. And the final one was some water. So let's just see where the water needs to be, right here. Okay, so I'll add that in as well. Good, and then the end too. I'm going to judge that to be when we stop seeing water, which will be about the same time that we land on the fire. So right there.
Down at the Billabong.
Way too loud, so I'll pull that down.
Down at the Billabong, the boys had fun catching all kinds of fish.
Now I'm just noticing that the rainforest is a little bit loud now in comparison to the other sound effects, so I'm pulling that down even further. Be very soft now.
One day, down at the Billabong, the boys had fun catching all kinds of fish. The women went looking. They found the... Die! You will die forever, but I will never die.
Okay, good. So that's phase one of our creation of sound effects. You can see that what we've done is we've imported our video. We have set up our screen. We've identified spots where we needed the different sounds, and then we've imported them. At this point, I want to show you one last thing before we finish up the video, and that is when you look in the Finder for sound effects, you will notice that there's a little text file saying more free sound effects available from soundbible.com. Okay, so most of these sound effects, that's where I've gotten them from SoundBible. And if you're finding that there's a particular type of sound that you want that you can't get, that's where you need to go. So soundbible.com, I'll just quickly show you how that might work. So we've got soundbible.com. Let's say that you've got a particular sound that you need. Maybe it's a bird sound or something like that. We've got tons and tons and tons and tons of different things that are going to turn up here. So you can preview them by clicking like this. Okay, let's imagine that we decided that's exactly what we wanted. We go to it and then download it. So click on the MP3 link. That'll download. Just like we did at the very start of the video, go to the downloads folder. That'll be the first thing that you see in your downloads folder. Let me get GarageBand back up. I can just drag that sound in. Okay, so that's the way that I would get a new sound in from SoundBible.
One day, Moon's two boys told him they wanted to go hunting.
I actually don't mind that in that track, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay, cool. So that wraps up this video, and in our next one we're going to be looking at the incidental sound effects, creating a more rich and detailed soundscape with all of the different things that we can see in the video. Here we go.